Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Seas of Stars, a game created by the same folks who did the Messenger and all for the Xbox Series X and S. This is being played on the Series S though via Game Pass. The game is also available on the PS4, Xbox One. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. And if you're interested in my review, gameplay footage of the game, I'll have a link down in the description down below, or you click on the card that will appear up on this video, assuming you watch this on YouTube. And for parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Sea of Stars is rated E10, ages 10 and up, by the ESRB rating system, though. Indie games can be sort of interesting, though. There are some indie games that are kind of unique, and then there are some that can sometimes be like a little hidden gem every now and then. And there are some that do definitely garnish, a lot of attention and all, though. Whether it's games like It Takes Two, which I kind of view as sort of a small title, to even some like, Necromancer Dance. I apologize for not saying the name correctly, though. But the point is that there are plenty of interesting indie games, though. One in particular that was interesting, I think it was either in 2019 or 2018, was The Messenger. This was basically a 2D side-scroller game that kind of hankered back to the days of, games like, the Ninja Gaiden series. And what made it interesting was the switch between, the 8-bit look and the 16-bit look. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So it was also kind of interesting to hear that the folks who worked on that game would do basically what essentially would be a prequel to The Messenger by the name of Seas of Stars, a game that would basically draw actually inspiration from like the old school 8 or 16-bit JRPGs back in the day. Particularly some view it as sort of like drawing inspiration from Chrono Triggers and all. And after trying the game out on Game Pass and playing it for a while, I will say I could see how this game did win Indie Game of the Year for the Game Awards this year, and it is actually a very good game indeed and all. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons, and we'll start off with the pros, though. The first one you want to talk about is the visuals. I really definitely like the visuals of this game. It's pretty clear that the developers did draw inspiration from past 16-bit or 8-bit RPGs back in the day, and you could definitely see the influence, though, ranging from some of the character designs to the world itself and everything like that, though. Some have called it as sort of almost feels like a, to some feel like it's a spiritual successor to Chrono's Trigger, and to some degree I could see the comparison between the two, ranging from the art style to the way, how the combat is set up in general, though. So in terms of the visuals, though, I will say I definitely like that, though. The next one I do want to talk about is the combat, and I will say this is probably the game's strong point, though. The combat kind of feels a little bit towards, and the gameplay as well, a little bit of a mixture of the JRPGs to basically, the Mario RPGs in general. You do basically have, your attack, you also have your magic power, your MP, and so forth, but it also draws parts of it, as I mentioned, from the Mario RPGs, where if you hit the button right in time correctly, though, you could do like more than one attack on the enemies. Other times they may require you to basically hold down the button to basically release like a powerful move and everything like that, to reflecting, bounce, like a certain weapon or anything like that. Like one case you have something called the Moonerang, where it's basically a boomerang where it flicks towards an enemy, and when it comes back you have to hit the button right in time to ricochet off of you to go to another enemy, and so forth, though. To even you have to hit the button, hit the time it correctly to block in general, though. So it does borrow some elements from JRPGs and some elements from the Mario RPG, plus it also adds a bit of cooking as well, so you could cook recipes and food to basically use to increase your recover your MP, to your HP, to even characters that may have fallen in battle and everything like that though. Interestingly enough though, as you basically attack your enemies, you could recover your MP sort of carefully though, and anytime you basically attack enemies, they'll drop what are basically these little orbs, and you can suck them into your character, and they can do like, say, multiple damages to the enemies as well. On top of that, the enemies will also have these like certain cards that will be on top of them, and some of them require you to either use a special move or use a certain weapon. Like there may be a sword where you may have to use an enemy that you may have to attack the enemy with your sword, while other one may have to be with like a hammer-like approach. If you knock it down, you basically not only weaken the enemies, but you also help fill up a bar, which basically is your combo bar. You fill that up and you can basically do certain like special moves. Some of it may be ranging from doing like more damages to the enemies. Other might be helping like refill like your HP just in case if it's running low and everything like that. So the combat, I will say, in the game is definitely the strong point in the game though, and I like how it uses some elements from JRPGs and some elements from the Mario RPG. And last but not least is basically the story and the characters. And I will say that I definitely enjoyed the story and the characters in Sea of Stars though. I think the world that they created, even though it's supposedly a prequel to The Messenger, looks fantastic and everything like that. I could definitely see why some folks view it as sort of getting a little bit of a Chronos Trigger vibe out of the game, and that certainly is not a bad thing at all though. And the characters definitely look really nice, look really good and everything like that. It does have a little bit of an anime style to a certain degree, but it's certainly definitely the way they're designed look really interesting and neat. So story and character wise, I think it looks really good and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, which is the con. So we'll take a little break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my video review of Sea of Stars for the Xbox Series X and S though. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And there are really only 2 big cons, or at least cons that I could think of, at least from based on my time with Sea of Stars. The first one is the game doesn't really have any quick save and everything like that. Now, for those who are not familiar, the game does have certain save points, and you can save at any of those points as well. Some of them will even have campfire sites where you basically can rest and everything like that, to even cook food that you could use, especially like to recover your HP, MP, or revive a character and everything like that though. The thing is that I just feel this is one of those cases where I do feel like a game like this would definitely benefit for having something like a quick save and everything like that. I mean, it doesn't ruin the game entirely. I don't think it like completely ruins it or anything like that. It's just something I would like to see. I mean, even a game like Super Mario RPG, which is a remake of Super Mario RPG Legends of the Seven Stars, has started to use sort of like a quick save or automatic save feature though. So I do think it's a little bit unfortunate that a game like Sea of Stars doesn't have sort of a quick save feature though. I think that would have been nice and everything like that. And last but not least, I do want to say one of the things you could do with the game is, in terms of blocking, as I mentioned, it's kind of similar to how I've seen in, like the Mario RPGs in general, where if you time it right, you can block an ongoing attack, which can sort of limit the amount of damages and everything like that. But just like in the Mario RPGs though, blocking in the game can be a little tricky at times though, and it does require a bit of timing. Henceforth, there is a little bit of a learning curve. Luckily, there are amulets that you could turn on and off if you want to make the game, let's just say, a bit easier if you find the difficulty maybe too difficult or anything like that. So there is a silver lining to this. But I will admit that having played these games like the Mario RPGs, and one where you can hit the button and time it right to block an oncoming attack and everything like that, I will admit it can be a little tricky in time. And I'm also admit I'm not exactly 100% perfect at them. So yeah, blocking can be tricky, and there is a little bit of a learning curve to it. Overall, I would say I'm definitely enjoying Seas of Stars, and this is the one game I definitely would recommend, regardless of what your system of choice may be. At its best, though, I do like the old school visuals to the game. I think it looks really neat. The combat and the gameplay of the game is enjoyable, especially the combat side, which is sort of a mixture of part JRPG or turn-based JRPG to the Mario RPGs. And the world and the characters they created in the Sea of Stars is definitely good. I like how they created these characters, though. At its worst, however, I will say that a quick save option would have been nice if they had added this into Sea of Stars. And blocking in general, or sometimes timing your attacks, can be tricky at times, though. So it does take a little bit of practice, and there is a little bit of a learning curve. But that did not in any way discourage me from enjoying this game and everything like that. It's definitely one I would recommend, especially if you're a fan of old school JRPGs or the Mario RPGs in general, though. It really comes down to what your system of choice may be, since this isn't really a graphically demanding game, so it really just comes down to what your main system of choice is. And for those on Xbox, if you're not 100% sure about this game, as of the recording of this video, it is available on Game Pass at this time, so give it a try on Game Pass to see if it's something that clicks with you or not. But in either case, though, I consider Sea of Stars definitely a recommendation, and I can see why this won Indie Game of the Year at the 2023 Game Awards and all. Okay, so this concludes this video of my review of Sea of Stars for the Xbox Series X and S, being played on Series S via Game Pass. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Sea of Stars? Have you tried the game out yet, though? Do you like that it pays homages to old school turn-based JRPGs, to maybe a little bit of a Mario RPG in general, though? Do you enjoy the combat? Do you have issues with it, though? Do you wish they had a quick save in any way? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound from the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You do it through PayPal Me, Patreon, or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you watch this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!